Disclosure is an absolute minefield, or we can make it a minefield. It's actually so simple we've got to complicate it in order to understand it. The simple thing about disclosure is you go to a bar, you go to a club, and you meet this really cute guy and you want to have sex with him, and you have a drink and you talk and you think, oh yeah, this is really good, I feel good, he feels good, I'm up for it, he's up for it, let's do it. And then you think, hang on, I'm HIV positive. What do I do about this? Disclosure. That's a technical term for what's coming up. Do you tell and risk rejection? Or do you not tell and have your way with him? Most gay men I know who don't disclose, and most don't, they don't disclose because of fear of rejection. They feel that the answer is going to be no, and they couldn't take a rejection. So, if they don't disclose, and their partner, this cute guy, hasn't disclosed either, they might be positive, but they haven't said either, neither discloses, and then they go beyond first base to the next step, to second base, and they have sex. If then they don't use protection, including, I hate to rain on your parade, guys, including for oral sex, there are clear indications in the science that HIV can be transmitted orally. And if you haven't disclosed and you have unsafe sex orally or anally, and somehow HIV is transmitted, a long time down the line, if they work out it was you, you can be in this country prosecuted under criminal law, and you can be imprisoned, you can be sentenced. So it's not just a question of, oh, I don't feel like telling him. The law has intervened because there's been too many cases where we haven't disclosed. And because we haven't been clever in the way we've addressed this, the law came in a few years ago in this country and said, we will intervene. If we can prove transmission has occurred, it's criminal transmission. Admittedly, the few cases we've had up before the judges in this country have been very carefully argued because they've had to track the HIV down to its DNA sequencing to see whether you were the transmitter. You've had to break it down into viral DNA and to look at it's almost like DNA sampling for a criminal act like a murder or an attack, anything like that. So they break it down to that. But I think as the years go on and more people claim that they were infected by you, then it'll be harder to argue that you were innocent. And if they claim you deliberately lied about your HIV status and you claimed you were negative and you infected them, the law will hit you harder than if you just decided mutually not to disclose. I know it's hard to take a rejection, but wouldn't you rather have a rejection and finding someone else who might say yes than to be imprisoned, prosecuted, being dragged through the courts, maybe sometimes for months or years while this was going on? Imagine what that would do to your immune system if you were HIV positive. Couldn't keep your name out of the press. They'd find out who you were. Stay clever. Disclosure is a bitch, but you have to be clear about the implications. Look at the cases online, Google all the cases, put HIV criminal transmission, HIV deliberate infection and the law into Google and see what it comes up with. There's hundreds of cases out there that have been successfully prosecuted and people imprisoned because of deliberately infecting someone. And not to disclose is deliberately to infect them, I'm sorry to tell you. It's a deliberate act. It's not an act of omission, it's an act of commission, which in law has a different weight, a different bearing. So when you see this cute guy, tell him. If he says no, walk away. Don't have a problem with it. And if he says yes, you have to take care, because he cannot agree to unsafe sex, because you cannot agree in law to becoming, I'm not sure what the actual technical term is, I'd need to go into the law. You cannot agree an act of infection. You are responsible for using safer sex every time. And why do we have to fuck every time? There's other things we could do. It's a whole menu of things we could do. Read the literature. You don't just have to wham bam every time. There's other ways to have sex that aren't penetrative, but there's no risk. Investigate those. It's like the wank circles, the circle jerks they had in San Francisco in the late 80s, early 90s. They probably still have them, where you had different ways of sex, but the end result was the same. The ejaculation was as pleasurable, but no one got infected. There was no problem with that. But if you're having sex with that cute guy, to protect yourself from criminal law, you have to use a condom after disclosing. And if you disclose and he says no, walk away. Respect him for his answer. Don't have a problem with his answer, because he's protecting himself. He doesn't want to become HIV infected. But unfortunately, both you and cute guy might be drunk, you might be on drugs, you might be off your faces, you might not even be able to pronounce disclosure. So you fall into a back room and wham bam, HIV, thank you, Sam. That's the way you get it. Disclosure's a minefield, but if you don't do it, you could end up imprisoned, and you don't want to go there, believe me.